Welcome back. First, we need to create the Databricks environment so that our data factory can interact with this environment and it can execute the transformations required. In order to do that, we need to do a few things before we can get started. So the first one is to create a Databricks service within our Azure portal. Once we've done that, we can create a Databricks cluster within that one, and that is the cluster which will execute our transformations. And the next thing we need to do is to mount our data lake storage into the Databricks cluster or the workspace so that it can access our storage account. So these are the primary things we need to do. In this lesson, we are going to start creating the Databricks service in our Azure portal. And then in the following lessons, we'll do the cluster and we'll mount the storage account. So let's switch over to the Azure portal and get started. Okay, we are back in our Azure portal and come out to the top left and click Create a Resource. And now search for Databricks. And click on that Azure Databricks. And click Create. Keep your subscription, which we want. I've got the pay-as-you-go subscription and pick your resource group. As we said before, I'm going to put everything into COVID Reporting Project RG and give a name for your workspace. I'm going to call mine as COVID Reporting Databricks to learn ADF and pick your region. I've got East US. And on the pricing tier, we just can stick to the standard tier rather than the premium one. Premium will be quite useful if you are interacting collaboratively within your team and all that kind of stuff. But standard should be good enough for what we are doing. And click on Next for networking and you can accept the default there. Click through to Next again for encryption with default settings. Click Next for security and compliance. Click Next in tags as well. And click Review plus Create. And the validation succeeded. Click Create, and that should create our Databricks service for us. Okay, so the deployment's now complete. It took about 2 minutes for me. So click Go to Resource and we can pin this resource into our dashboard we got. So let's do that. So pin my dashboard so we can come back to it later on. And there is nothing much in here unlike the other Azure services because everything is contained within the Databricks workspace. So click on the Launch Workspace here and that will take you into your Databricks workspace. And that uses the Active Directory's single sign-on to sign you in. Okay, this is your home page. And apart from that, you've a few options here. So you've got the workspace. So the workspace is generally used to organize your notebooks, libraries, and experiments and things like that. So you can come in here, you can create a new notebook, for example. So if I come in here, that's my user directory. So I can go here and I can create a new notebook. And if you want to create a new folder or new library, or you can create your experiments here. So you organize all of those things. You can import and export notebooks and other things as well. So that's your workspace and data. So at the moment it says actually you don't have any databases or tables. So if you create any databases or tables, you can see them. But you need to have a running compute in order to be able to query the databases. And computes, you can create a Databricks compute here. We got two different types of computes. So you've got the all-purpose computes and job computes. We'll talk about these things in the next session. And we'll also create a compute for ourselves. And jobs, you can create jobs here so that you can schedule your workflows within Databricks itself. We're not going to be doing this one, we're going to use Data Factory to invoke our jobs. So we won't be using this one. Models, this will let you create any MLflow experiments you want to create. But this is out of scope for our course. And search, let's use search anything within your workspace because you could have a lot of information hidden within your workspace. If you want to search anything, you can just search through that. So that is pretty much the workspace on the right-hand side. You've got the admin console and user settings here. So you can grant permissions to other people. If you have other users, you can add new users and things like that. So I hope that's given you an overview of the Databricks workspace. That's the end of this session, but in the next session, I'll walk you through more about the Databricks computes and we'll create a compute for our use. I'll see you in the next session.